Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to 31 70s horror movies for Halloween, where I'm counting down my favorite horror movies from the 1970s. For number 22, we're heading over to Australia, with one of my favorite Australian horror movies, Patrick. If you're watching this and you're a fan of Carrie, I think you will be a fan of Patrick. Because this is a psychic horror movie. It involves this guy named Patrick who, when he murders his family, he ends up getting severely injured and goes into a coma. So for the entire movie, our main horror villain is lying down in a hospital bed. His eyes are always wide open. There's a glue that's supposed to be able to keep somebody's eyes shut when they're in a coma, but it's not working on him. So for the entire movie, the actor is just lying down with his eyes wide open, staring into nothingness. But the thing is, Patrick has psychic abilities. So he's able to do things to people while he's lying there in a coma. What makes this horror movie so interesting is that our main villain is lying down motionless throughout the entire film, yet he's able to still have a presence. This isn't a very action-packed horror movie, but it is a very atmospheric horror movie. You could technically call it a slow burn, but it's a slow burn in the same way that Halloween is kind of a slow burn. What I like about Patrick is there are moments where scary things are happening in the scene, but you don't notice them right away. And then when you do notice, it makes the scene scary. There's not a high body count here, but there is some death. But again, that's not what the movie's about. It's about the atmosphere. It's about this story of this guy in a coma using his telekinesis on people. He takes this particular interest in a nurse, and he, in a way, falls in love with her and becomes obsessed with her, and is kind of doing things to her via his telekinesis. The best part about Patrick is, I don't want to spoil it here, but there's a particular scene where something very simple happens, but the way it's built up and the way they handle it in the scene, it's the scariest scene in the movie. I mean, when it happened, I actually went, oh god! But again, it was such a simple act. And when a horror movie can take something very, very simple and make it scary, that's a good horror movie. But true, this movie doesn't have a lot of bloodshed. It doesn't have, like, a lot of jump scares or anything like that. But for me, that's refreshing. It's just a simple, atmospheric horror movie.
I'm fairly certain it was my husband, Ed. It's just his little way of making a point.
I enjoy my blood and gore, but when it comes to the Halloween season, I like to watch more atmospheric movies. So, if you like Carrie, then watch the Australian version of Carrie. So, yeah, anybody out there who likes psychic horror, give Patrick a watch.
Well, I think Patrick and I are going to get along just